Conservative American men are the biggest pussies on planet Earth.
Illuminati is a thing you need to watch out for. They want to depopulate and slave us so much more. World domination, I'll get into that later. I'm hardcore, fierce and sexy. You're just a hater. You deserve the ridicule because you're an absolute zero. I'm the keeper of the chalice, a rock and roll hero. I'm not an idiot nobody listens to, because I'm not a failure in life like you. Let's talk about Bill Gates and the mark of the beast and the orgies in the streets at the Catholic feasts and Bill and Hillary's human trafficking ring. And George Soros got the money to pay for everything. Socialism is for losers, working for the devil, chumps that can't fight, they ain't on my level. It takes an evil one to try to debunk and doubt it, so I'd rather die than stop talking about it. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. Watch out for the Illuminati. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. Watch out for the Illuminati. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. Watch out for the Illuminati. Watch out for the Illuminati.
So now the new spin is, Tim Walz is trying to reach out to the president to tamp down what exactly? To tamp down the evidence, the proof that now the whistleblowers inside Tim Walz's own government, whose cries of corruption were smothered by the corrupt bureaucracy, the corrupt government in Minnesota, have now been sworn in as congressional whistleblowers, which means they can't be stifled anymore. And the reason Trump doesn't take Tim Walz's calls is because there's prima facie evidence, proof beyond the shadow of a doubt. Tim Walz is in on this. Ileana Omar in on it. Everybody in that government is in on it. And you're all crooked as Grand Avenue. So you're all going to get perp walk. Nobody has to take your calls, you fucking idiot.
You're watching the MC Tutol Show with your hardcore, fierce, and sexy host that is never gross, MC Tutol. What you just saw at the beginning of the video is Shaun Thompson, and he's uncovered a lot of truths about Minnesota, Tim Walz, and corruption. But before we get into that, let's talk about Wild Bagels, where you could get a nice piping hot cup of coffee like this and the bagel of your choice baked on premises by simply walking into 1901 Stillwell Avenue in beautiful Brooklyn, New York. Or to have it delivered to your home, you could give them a call at 718-333-WILD. That's 718-333-WILD. And remember, Wild Bagels, those bagels sure are wild. Now, let's talk about what Shaun Thompson brought up. Tim Walz is ringing Donald Trump's phone off the hook. Just blowing up Donald Trump's phone. He's calling to beg for mercy. Because the whistleblowers that Tim Walz ignored and then threatened and harassed are now congressional whistleblowers. Meaning Tim Walz can no longer touch them. He can no longer nakedly pound them as he allegedly threatened he would do to them. I don't know what that means. I think that means he's going to strip his own clothes off and start beating on them. And that just put a bad picture in everyone's head, including my own. Yeah, he can no longer threaten to nakedly pound the whistleblowers. So Tim Walz could go pound sand. And then, much later in life, pound rocks with a hammer in a chain gang. These people need to be in a chain gang, breaking rocks in the hot sun, fighting the law, and the law won. And it needs to happen. People need to be held accountable. They need to go to jail. They need to go to jail. Tim Walz and Don Lemon need to go to jail. But Don Lemon probably won't go to jail because of the way he worded his business or whatever. But I'm sure with enough scratching and digging under the surface, that could be arranged where he could go to jail where he belongs because there'll be some evidence, hard concrete evidence, if you dig far enough, that Don Lemon was the ringleader in that protest, in that violent invasion of a house of worship. Unbelievable what happened there. Day before Martin Luther King Day. And they're talking about invoking the KKK Act of 1871 to have Don Lemon arrested. And rightfully so. He's a Klansman. He came in with a Klan to harass and intimidate parishioners going to church, as did the KKK back in the day. And so you have that going on. Tim Walz says nothing. But meanwhile, when fraudulent daycare centers are being exposed by a YouTuber, he rushes to call the YouTuber a white supremacist. Sticks and stones, baby. Names will never hurt. And it's gotten to the point where the names have no validity. I'll tell you this, if you call me Hitler himself, it's going to just roll off of me. And I'm not going to go through a whole diatribe of explanations of why I'm not Hitler. If you want to believe I'm Adolf Hitler himself, you go right ahead and you believe that. You want to believe anything you want to believe. Or what my late great brother Louis Krantz used to tell me, and I got to do the visual because he would do this as he was saying it. You believe what you want to believe. And it was very effective with the visual there. It made me want to, attack my much bigger brother, and never worked out in my favor. Rest in peace to my brother Louis Krantz. But anyway, I got to talk about this thing in Minnesota. Tim Walz is calling to beg for mercy. Beg for mercy, but you're gonna get none. 'Cause with the rap, I'm like Paul Kersey, and my mic is the gun. How many of you know who Paul Kersey is? Maybe you know the actor that played him, Charles Bronson. Now you'll have a little hint there. Charles Bronson is like Clint Eastwood. He was known for playing characters that did stuff with guns. So anyway, Tim Walz begging for mercy, won't get that mercy. We're going to start seeing these people perp walked. Perp walk, orange suit, cold, dark, damp prison cells. We're going to have to see it. Handcuffs, shackles around the ankles, chain gangs. We got to see this stuff happening. We got to start seeing this stuff happening because what's the point of exposing this, bringing this stuff to light, if nobody's getting punished for it? And so I like Donald Trump, and I don't foresee ever regretting my vote. But believe it or not, there are at least two people that I know personally that I correspond with on Facebook. People I've known, one since the 80s, another since the 70s, that voted for Trump and actually wish they voted for Kamala Harris. And I think they're insane. So I keep sending them Trump stuff to remind them who they voted for, and they shouldn't wish they could take that vote back. You know what vote I wish I could take back? My 2008 presidential vote. You know, I voted for hope and change and got none of that. The country became more divided, and luckily I voted against that son of a bitch bastard when he ran for re-election. Of course, he won the re-election because fuck the Republican candidate that year, which was Mitt Romney. I voted for Gary Johnson, a much smarter man than both those presidential candidates of that year, 2012. But that's my voting record. The one vote the left would credit me for is the one vote I regret. Because, yeah, I had my reasons. I saw in 2004 that John McCain did not have a spine. I don't know what he did in Vietnam or whatever. He might have been a brave war hero. Who knows? I wasn't there. But as a candidate and a politician, he had no spine. And he was writing off his reputation from the military. And, yeah, he's dead. But, you know, there's a lot of people that are dead that you have factual, not complimentary, but at least factual things to say about such people. You know, like it's factual that Lyndon Johnson, who was also dead, was a scumbag. Che Guevara, same thing. But anyway, I mean, I'm not saying they were the exact same type of person, but in their own right, they were each scumbags. So I don't want people dissecting that statement. But anyway, Tim Walz, who's very much alive, and if God prevails, he will spend the rest of his life in jail, because that would be the holy and godly thing to do. He's very much alive, and he's a scumbag. He's a prick that was in on the fraud going on throughout the state of Minnesota. And he chose to stifle his whistleblowers that were coming to him and telling him this was going on directly. He threatened them. And from what I'm told by people from my own neighborhood here, he threatened to nakedly pound them, whatever that's supposed to mean. And it's a major travesty. I'm surprised Minnesotans aren't holding their head from that traumatic experience. Everybody's focusing on the death of Renee Macklin, who I refuse to call Renee Good. And they're focusing more on that than the real crime, which is all this fraud by these people that they're afraid to talk about because these people are not white people. If the left had its way, crime would be disproportionately committed on record by white people, and everybody who's not white is completely innocent, just trying to live their lives, and along come the bully white people to break the law, harass them, kill them, and get away with it. There are people going through life that might know nothing of my history, see my face, see what I'm wearing, see my skin tone, view me as an enemy, and make a very comically failed attempt to kill me. Of course, since I wrote the song, You Can't Kill Me, I can't be killed. Look up at your guard, ask me, how's my day? I drank a 40, got the gap, and blew somebody away. You name the game, I'll play to win when I play, and I'll bring my sword, swing, slaughter, and slay. These are lyrics that I attribute to God. God gave me this lyrical talent, which gives me an obligation to release rap music with a message in it. A message that helps the people. And Tim Walz and his cronies in Minnesota are not helping the people. They are fraudulent excuses of human beings. They are waste. They belong in the dumpster. You know what they are? They are classless, smelly, dysfunctional white trash. As is the whole left. Gavin Newsom, Nancy Pelosi, Ilhan Omar, AOC. They are classless. They are classless, uncouth, dysfunctional trash. They're the type of people whose parents may be brother and sister. And you can see Tim Walz even has the protruding forehead. You know, he has the protruding forehead. He believes somewhere you could fit a tampon in a male child, or that a child with female lower body parts is somehow a male. So, yeah, you could see where one would suspect Tim Walz's parents are brother and sister. And with that said, Tim Walz needs to go to church. That fucking sinner. Respect God. Watch out for the Illuminati. Tell all your friends about me. Like, comment, subscribe, share. Stay strong. Keep kicking that slang. It's your boy in the building. Your hardcore, fierce, and sexy host that is never gross, MC Too Tall. You be safe out there.